Hi all, this is Nexus of Thought, and today I'm going to do a movie review on the show Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk and Christopher Lloyd. I definitely recommend this. A wonderful action movie, kind of a throwback to the action movies of the 70s and 80s, where they just give you what you want. It's pure escapism, no moralizing, and lots of action. So this is a return to basics. I'm not sure if the intention was to be like that, but it certainly came out this way. The movie is kind of like a cross between John Wick's character and I would say Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, where he plays an agent, but he's undercover and living a normal family life. Because really, that's what Odenkirk was in this movie. We only told quite a bit way through the movie that he's actually a former agent for one of the either the CIA or the FBI, and till that point, we suspect that he's more than what his character seems to be. But he's portrayed initially as a docile uh, husband working a 9 to 5 job. He's an auditor at a factory. And then we realize that the actually auditing that he's done for most of his life involves actually the execution of various, I guess, political enemies by one of the intelligence agencies. This movie has a lot of fight scenes, but there's also time taken to break down into Odenkirk's character, who's known as Hutch Mansell, very similar to the F1 driver Nigel Mansell. And we see his family and how he goes to great lengths to protect them. The arch villain in the show is the Russian mobster Yulian. Of course, he's stereotyped in all the worst possible ways. He's a psychopath with a huge amount of anger issues, and will stop at nothing to get rid of his opponent, which in this case is Mansell. So the two actually meet in several times through this movie, and there's a great standoff. I'm not going to go into the actual details of what's happened, but it's certainly worth seeing. And I like the fact that the movie itself was very economical. It fit into about 1.5 hours of screen time, and there was no wasted scenes. Each screen had a purpose. Each scene had a purpose, and the script itself was very, very tight. It's something that you rarely see these days, where a great deal of movies go over time and include a lot of wasted verbiage that the movie could do without. In this case, they actually made sure that they used everything to the best possible in the best possible manner. Christopher Lloyd was also in the movie. People remember Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future, the scientist in Back to the Future. He's looking a bit older, but he plays Mansell's father, and he was excellent as well. Very, very good shows that he's still got a lot in him. And something that's worth thinking about here is that they've done a very good job in not only going back to the basics of what an action movie should be, but they've also set it up as a sequence for serials, and we might see more of them in the future. So this guy Hutch Mansell is more like your neighborhood Jason Bourne, very, very adept at surviving and protecting his family. And the movie itself was refreshing. It was refreshing in that they weren't he weren't going into endless questioning of what he's doing, and he just did it. There was a clear distinction in this movie between good and evil, and we know what side of the picture Mansell is on, and he does his best to make it right for the good guys. It's quite refreshing to see, because so many movies these days blur that distinction and often weaken the enjoyment of this movie. I like deep intellectual movies, but sometimes you need pure escapism, and this one delivers that. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I would have probably given it higher if perhaps if there was more detail in certain areas and more of a background as to where he was coming from. But I generally reserve those high valuations for classics. But this one is a fair 8 out of 10. Well done to Bob Odenkirk, and looking forward to the next installment of this character. Thank you.